What's up, you guys? Stoopzz back again with another video, and today I'm continuing the Ultimate Tutorial PvP Guide series here on this channel. There's a lot of exciting things coming to this channel over the next couple weeks or so, or a week or so I should say. I have a big announcement that you guys should be on the lookout for coming so Friday or maybe Saturday. I'm sure you'll hear about it almost everywhere on the internet. It's going to be one of the biggest things I would say to come to World of Warcraft PvP in a very long time. And I'm very excited to cover all of that with you guys. So be sure to check out that announcement on my channel within the next couple of days or so. But in today's video, we are once again continuing the Ultimate Tutorial PvP Guide series on this channel. It's been a little bit since I posted one of these videos, and I'm excited to bring it back. And today, we're going to be talking about how to get off autopilot and how to know or understand the enemy's win condition and how you can play around this. Now, this video was going to be a really long video, but I decided to break it down into smaller segments. This video will, revolve around a couple small questions that you can apply to almost any situation in World of Warcraft. And this is the where, why, what, and how. Now, you've probably heard this in a few other games. You've also probably heard about win conditions before. Win conditions are a popular term that I learned about in card games. I used to love playing Magic the Gathering and like Yu-Gi-Oh card games when I was younger. And a win condition simply means that the enemy team or you will win under these conditions. Pretty obvious right now. Now, understanding these questions will really help you better dissect and break down your enemy's win condition. Sometimes you don't need the what or the why, sometimes the who in there. It doesn't really matter so much. It's all about getting in that analytical, frame of mind and how you can get off that auto instinct pilot that people have where you just hop into arena, you throw everything out the window and you just go on instinct. And I've talked about this before. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So it's really important for you to start re-engineering or reversing those poor habits that you have, and then try actively implementing proper strategy, good habits. Really, it's very difficult to do. I'm not going to lie. It's not something you can just do overnight. But if you slowly start to re-engineer your mind to work in the way of off these habits and starting to make correct choices each and every single game, then your instincts will naturally change, and then you'll start to climb rating just naturally because you're improving as an overall player. That's what separates all players, you guys. People always say, well, what makes a difference between a 2400 and a 2K player? The 2400 player is just better at everything. The higher rated you are, chances are, most likely, depending on the situation, you're just better at everything. Let's say, for example, I'm playing on a Mistweaver Monk, but it does not have to be a Mistweaver Monk. It can be a warrior, it can be a mage, it can be any class that you're playing as, or the classes that you're playing against. But in today's segment, I'm a Mistweaver Monk and I'm fighting against, let's just say, a rogue mage, for example. So I'm in Mugambala or Moonjambala or Moongambala in the waiting room before the arena starts, and as I'm waiting, I know that I'm fighting a rogue mage, right? You can tell by Gladius, you can tell by your side icons on the side of your screen, your enemy frames. You'll know that you're fighting a certain comp. So when that happens, you have to immediately look and say, well, what am I fighting? That is the first question, okay? Obviously, this is an obvious question, but what am I fighting? And then once you ask yourself, what am I fighting? Who are they most likely to target, right? There's the who. Why are they going to target that person? You can ask it in any format, but who are they going to target? And let's say it's a rogue mage, and I assume that they want to go me as a Mistweaver, right? I'm playing with like a Ret Paladin, perhaps I'm playing with a warrior. Doesn't matter so much. But I want to know who they're going to go, and then why are they going to go me? Why are they going me? Because I obviously am the squishiest target. I obviously can die in a stun. Mistweaver is notorious for dying in stun. And if you don't know the answer to these questions, like who they're going to go or why they're going to go them, I'll explain at the end of the video how you can better understand who or why or whatever. But let's say you do know they're going to go you, and this is like a common thing as a Mistweaver. You can just die in stun. Sometimes they CC you out, and that is very probable. But the most important question is, how are they going to kill that target, right? The how is really the key here behind the win condition, right? What are they going to use? You can ask that as well. But how are they going to kill me? All of these things should be going through your mind before the game starts. And what I notice a lot for other players is that, they say, oh, what am I fighting? I know what I'm fighting. Oh, our win condition is, okay, we're gonna CC this guy. I'm gonna stun this guy. We're gonna lock down this dude, and then we're gonna catch him in a kidney shot. We're gonna kill him, right? Like, you know what you're going to do, but you're not better prepared on what they're going to do. Now, for me personally, I'm more of a defensive style player because I feel like for me, that helps me actively improve. And I've been trying to implement the same thing that I'm telling to you guys every single day in my gameplay. I'm trying to better understand when I look at their comp and I know I'm fighting a rogue mage. In my mind, I've asked those questions, but the most important one again was, how are they going to kill me, okay? And in my last video, we talked about Omnibar. Now, Omnibar is the secret to today's video, I would say, for the most part. We talked about checking off certain abilities. So if you haven't seen that video, the link to that video will be in the description box below. Please check out that video. It'll better prepare you for today's video. It's worth the time. It's worth your brain power, your brain cells to watch that video, I promise. So for today's video, I have gone ahead and deselected all my abilities on Omnibars. Now, some people were saying it wasn't working. Omnibar works now, you guys. I just needed to update with 8.1, so make sure you've updated your Omnibar. I have to have already checked off and taken the time to do this. What are mages? And we're going to use a fire mage for today's example, but you could use any mage. What are their goes, right? And if you've read through all these abilities, you'll know after you've taken the time and watched that video, you're going to know that fire mages win with combustion. Obviously, greater power blast is spammable and it's hard to get that off in a matchup if you are looking out for it, so you can't check that. But combustion is their big 2-minute CD, right? And then for rogues, we know that most rogues right now are playing assassination. You might see outlaw, but for the sake of the video today, we're just gonna talk about, assassination, right? We're gonna check vendetta, and then we also know, and I talked about this before, their biggest offensive ability is going to be kidney shot. Kidney shot is how you set up everything as a rogue. You can also track a bunch of other abilities, but just for the simplicity, I should say, of today's video, I just want to check off kidney shot, and I just want to check off vendetta, just to make the visual example much simpler. So I have kidney shot, I have vendetta, and then for the mage, I have combustion, right? So that means when I press test Omnibar, you're going to see these right here. Now, granted, the timer is not accurate, but you can see combustion, vendetta, and kidney shot. Okay, so the two big CDs are their Swifty cooldowns. If you're not familiar with that concept, it is how they win. It's like their one big go, and you need to have something prepared for those abilities. Vendetta and combustion, those are 2-minute cooldowns, so you are likely to want to trade out something similar that is 2 minutes to counteract one of those abilities. Now, we also have kidney shot. Most good rogues are going to use kidney shot into vendetta, or they're going to kidney shot for the mage and then it'll pop combustion. They can use them randomly, but that probably means you're already losing or they're not very good. Now, one of your biggest universal cooldowns that is 2 minutes is what? It is your Gladiator's Medallion. Your Gladiator's Medallion is a 2-minute cooldown and it breaks you out of any CC. So that means if you were stuck in a kidney shot, you could use your Gladiator's Medallion and it would get you out of it. If you were in a polymorph, you could also use that. Now, the biggest mistake people make is they use their trinkets not remembering what the enemy's win condition is, and they play on instinct. So for example, let's say you're fighting a rogue mage and then you randomly trinket a polymorph. Well, that means you're probably going to die in that kidney shot when vendetta comes around or combustion comes around, okay? So what we need to do is ask ourselves these questions: the who, what, when, where, and why. What team is it? Who are they gonna go? And then what are they going to do to win, or how are they going to win, right? These are all the questions that you should ask yourself. And then when you know what they're going to do, you need to, previously before the arena game opens, prior to the gates opening, you need to ask yourself, what am I going to do to stop that? What do I have to counter that? So when you see vendetta, for example, and you're in a kidney shot, the only thing you can do to counter that is use your Gladiator's Medallion. Or you could use it when they kidney shot you with combustion, right? You could also use it for that other 2-minute cooldown that we talked about earlier. If I go to Omnibar test, there they are. So when I know that they have this up in 6 seconds, I know a go is coming when this kidney shot is also off cooldown, right? These tell me when they're about to come back up. Vendetta now is back up. Kidney shot is 4 seconds away from being back up. So I have to be prepared for that. Now, there are precautionary steps we can take, right? I can pre-hop myself. If I'm a warrior, I can get into defensive stance. There's lots of things I can do to make sure that I'm prepared prior to the situation. But the best thing I can do is have my trinket, or maybe I can pre-wall it, right? If I know that kidney shot is about to come back up and the rogue is moving at me, I talked about this in an old video, I can use my wall right before I think he's about to kidney shot, and I will be taking 20% less damage. Everybody has one of these. Ancestral Shift. There's lots of ways to use it. For a monk, it's a little bit more important, I would say, because you can die instantly in a stun as a Mistweaver, but if you do get out of it, you're probably going to live, okay? So what I want you to do in this situation is have some communication with your team partner, your friend, hopefully someone you picked up off LFG. Hopefully you're not too picky, and you remember what I told you in the past, where I told you that you should pick somebody that might be worse than you just because he's willing to take the time to learn with you. If you're the better player, pick the worst player, because most people, just like you, because I have to tell you to do this, most people don't want to take the time to teach somebody else. So why would somebody better than you want to teach you? It's very unlikely. But if you're willing to be the bigger person and you're willing to teach somebody that's a little bit worse than you, he's willing to learn just like you would be willing to learn for the most part, and you can grow together and talk about these concepts and watch my videos together and open a bottle of wine and have some cheese and crackers and grapes and go on that wonderful WoW Arena PvP date that you've always wanted to go on. Yes, I know that was a little cringy, but we're gonna move on anyway. So what you should do is tell him, hey, this is their win condition, so what can we do to counter their win condition? Okay, now what people are gonna say is, well, Combustion and Vendetta, they line up together, right? When I do the test bar, they line up, they're both 2 minutes, okay? Even though the timer's off here, Combustion's a 2-minute cooldown, and Vendetta is also a 2-minute cooldown. So what you want to do is, they're probably not going to use both at the same time, because if they use both at the same time, then you can just trinket, use your cocoon, wall, and like port away, and then try and survive that situation, right? But if they use them separately, then you have to react appropriately. So, for example, let's say I'm the monk and this guy kidney shots me in the opener. And if he kidney shots me in the opener, then it's going to be on me or my partner to use one of their trinkets, because I'm assuming if I'm kidney shot and my partner's there, he should be able to save me. Maybe he can fear if he's a warrior. Maybe he can bot me if he's a rep paladin, blessing and protection. Maybe he can off heal, whatever the class might be. He can try and save me hex, a bunch of things he can do to save me in the situation. But if he's in CC, he has to trinket to save me, and then the next time it's going to be on him because he has no trinket, then I can trinket to save him, right? We're rotating our cooldowns appropriately, playing around their win condition. We know that's how they're going to win, so we have to appropriately play around it. The only way they win with their win condition, for the most part, is if you're not prepared or you do not have a way out. And in BFA, sometimes there's random damage and you can't predict it. But if you're able to play around that as a team and assist each other, you can stall out long enough. Now, eventually they will win if you can't close out the game soon enough. So the question is, how do we win? Now, that's going to be a video for another day, but I will quickly tell you that once I show you, or you've seen that these are on cooldown, that is your cue to go. That is understanding your win condition now, right? To understand your win condition, in my mind, it's better understand their win condition, because it allows you to assert your win condition. You assert your dominance by implementing your win condition when they have no response of their own, and that's very important to understand here. So quickly, I don't want to get too much into it, but once you've seen that they've done their win condition, now it's your turn to go, and that's how World of Warcraft works. One team goes, one team survives, the other team goes, the other team survives, and then you keep doing this until the enemy team runs out of answers, or you run out of answers and then you lose. It's the last team to have their go in dampening, especially in 2v2s. Remember that in 2v2s, the last team to have their go is more likely to win, because dampening begins to rack up and you can't heal as effectively. Now, the last thing I want to cover is, well, Stoopzz, I'm new to the game and I don't know what's going on, and I don't understand what their win condition is in the first place. I don't know that it's kidney shot. I don't know that it's Vendetta. I haven't watched your previous video in the description box below that tells me all of these things of, you know, which abilities to check or how to actually read which ones are important. I don't want to do that. Okay, well, what I can tell you is you can sign up for my Patreon coaching page, where I will be able to assist you with all these answers, my inexpensive coaching page, and you'll get all the help that you need, and you'll accelerate 10 times faster. Okay, I'm kidding. But if you can't afford coaching, I do have a very big tip for you guys that you can take away for free, free 99 in the chat. when you lose a game, there's always somebody on your team that goes, oh, dude, what happened there? Like, why didn't you heal me? And you go, dude, I was silenced. And then ding, 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 ding. That's their win condition. The moment you couldn't do what you wanted to do and they killed you, or they killed your teammate, or they won the match, that was their win condition. So you could say, dude, the Shadow Priest silenced me into a mind bomb, or he silenced me into a fear. Then you know that loss, revolves around the silence, the fear. It revolves around the mind bomb. It revolves around all of those things, because that's how you lost the match. So you should record your gameplay if possible. You should look back at your matches through a Twitch VOD if you stream or something like that. Or you should ask your friends, or if your friend asks you what happened, write it down on a little piece of paper. I promise you that will do you better than anything, because you can look back and see how you lost. And that's why losses are so important. When you lose a game, you're able to look back at that match and see the mistake that you made, or what happened to you and how you lost. And then you go, oh, mental note for the next game, I lost because every time they had the Shadow Priest silence up, it led into a big CC chain, and that's how they kept winning these games, or that's how they kept putting so much pressure on us. That's when I used the most cooldowns. That's when the match got really hard, is every time you had silence, etc. And then you could track silence on the Omnibar like I showed you in a previous video, and you're better prepared for the next game. But that is a quick video for today. I want you guys to get in this mindset of re-engineering your brain and starting to play around their win condition, knowing what their win condition is, and re-engineer these bad habits that you have, where you just play on instinct and you're randomly pressing cooldowns. You have no idea what's going on. Then you just hope that the universe drops a win in your lap. You're like, oh, I climbed 150 points today, Stoopzz. I'm so happy. Head over to my Patreon coaching page. Once again, if you guys are looking for some individualized, inexpensive coaching, the most inexpensive coaching anywhere on the internet for World of Warcraft, I promise it's worth your investment. I promise it's worth your time. And if you're unable to support me, a simple thumbs up will just do on this video. Be on the lookout for my big announcement coming in the next couple days or so. I know you guys will be so excited for it, and I promise you this is not any clickbait. It should be super exciting. So be on the lookout for a trailer release in the next couple days or so. Try not to miss me on my Twitch live stream where I answer all of your guys' questions in depth. Do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.